So history awaits one way or another. And he bends it. What a goal! He's done it again. Remember the name. Oh, what the finish! Wow. Oh my word!
This is just pure touch, instinct, confidence.
Western United have won the A-League Championship. Well, the Newcastle Jets were on the brink in stoppage time against Macarthur last week, and then they found a hero in Brandon O'Neill who breathed new life into their finals bid. Today, they simply must make the most of that second chance and attempt to set up a final day showdown with Sydney FC as they take on their bitterest rivals, the Central Coast Mariners, in what will be the 59th edition of the F3 Derby. The Mariners have got no such worries, of course. They are finals bound for the third year running, but I'm sure they would love nothing more than to end the Jets campaign, and they have won on each of their last 3 visits to this particular venue. A win for the Mariners by a 2-goal margin tonight, and they will jump up to second. A home final, of course, all but guaranteed already. The stakes are pretty high for both. There's no doubt that the Jets' need is the greater. Handshake and a hug between 2 very experienced captains. Matt Yeoman, who of course scored last week against Macarthur, and Danny Vukovic, veteran of many of these occasions. It was raining earlier on in northern New South Wales, but thankfully the skies have cleared. The pitch is going to be a little bit heavy underfoot, but this should be a very special occasion. And of course they've got a trophy to play for as well. New F3 Derby trophy. 1 win apiece in the previous 2 meetings this season. Who's going to have that in their cabinet tonight? We're about to find out. However, before we get things underway, the A-Leagues are reinforcing the links the game has with the Defence Forces of Australia and New Zealand all weekend. As part of the Anzac Day commemorations, we'll hear the Australian and New Zealand national anthem shortly. Firstly, over to our MC for the pre-game ceremony.
The Australian Professional Leagues, Newcastle Jets and Central Coast Mariners invite you to join the players, match officials and coaching staff in honouring the memory of Australia and New Zealand's servicemen and women who gave their lives for our nation. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service. If you are able to please stand and remove your hats for the pre-game commemoration. We welcome Mr Robert Newton to read the ode, followed by musician stubs to perform the last post and a minute's silence.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
Please remain standing for the New Zealand National Anthem performed by Committee Levi, followed by the Australian National Anthem performed by Laura Johnson.
God of nations at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices we entreat. God defend our free land. God receive his tribute store from the shouts of strife and war.
Australians, hold their hearts, rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, our beauty's rich and rare.
Party participating in today's commemoration.
So the pre-game formalities over. Here's the team news. Just the one change for the Jets from the side that secured that last gasp win against Macarthur. Joshua Sotirio replaces Costa Grozos, perhaps in part because he's made a habit of scoring against the Mariners. 6 goals in 15 matches, representing easily his best return against any opponent. Still no Manabu Saito, but a quirky bit of history for Thomas Aquilina, who becomes the first player to play for both clubs in the derby in the same season after his switch from the Mariners in the January window in a swap deal for James McGarry. Jason Hoffman standing by for his 28th F3 derby on the bench. Now the Mariners are unchanged. James McGarry didn't play for the Jets in those first 2 derbies, so loses out to Aquilina in the History Stakes. Jason Cummings loves this fixture. He has 5 goals in 4 matches against the Jets. Danny Vukovic, the only survivor from the first ever F3 derby at this venue. That was back in October 2005 during his first stint with the club. The Jets won 1-0 thanks to Franco Parisi. Youngsters Miguel De Fizio and Anthony Pavlicic are on the bench, the latter as goalkeeping replacements for the injured Yaron Souza. Plenty of Mariners fans have made the short hop on the F3. There is Arthur Papas, the home coach, looking to become just the third Jets coach since Gary Van Egmond won the championship to take the club to the finals. Only Branko Kolina in 2010, and of course famously Ernie Merrick 8 years later have broken the run of bottom half of the table finishes. Nick Montgomery looking to become the first Mariners coach since Graham Arnold to lift silverware for the club from Gosford, and he's got a good record against Arthur Papas. He's won 4 of their 5 meetings. Match referee today, Sean Evans, the first F3 derby he's taken charge of in over 4 years, and it's game number 154 in the competition in total for the Melbourne ref. Well, what an important afternoon for the Newcastle Jets. Not just in the context of this particular season, but to try and break the cycle of failure to make the top 6. Brandon O'Neill's late goal against the Bulls has given them a chance. They must be on it from the off. The Mariners are dangerous, and of course they have pace in defence as well. Brian Kaltak, one of the 5 quickest players in world football, according to recent reports. And Jason Cummings, of course, always a threat, as mentioned, in this fixture. What a fascinating 90 minutes ahead. The Mariners looking to climb to second. The Jets trying to build momentum for a final push for the top 6. They play Sydney away next week, and surely they must win today if that game is to mean anything. The blast on Sean Evans' whistle gets us underway. The most important derby in many a long year for the home side. Can they push on, or will the Mariners prove to be too strong? Andy Harper's alongside in commentary.
G'day, Simon. What a beautiful night for football. It was a bit of a threat earlier because of the rain that fell during the week. A bit of a downpour today, but the pitch has held up magnificently. The lines are bright. The players look brilliant and ready. Great crowd, perfect weather. A lot to play for. Couldn't ask for much more, Simon.
I'll tell you what, Harps, it's a while since I've seen so many Mariners fans. They've almost filled those 3 bays on the far side of the ground, which is great to see.
Well, they got the memo. The team's back, big time, with a chance at the title.
They're looking to launch an attack here through Marco Tullio on the right. Natter in pursuit, and they found Silvera with the cutback, which was dangerous. Swept away for now by Aquilina, and the Jets will look to make progress through Becca Mikkeltadze. Nectarios Triantis matched him stride for stride, and Mikkeltadze has remained down. Maybe just got a hand or an arm to the face.
Well, Sean Evans is the only one who's concerned about Becca Mikkeltadze, who was towed up in that 1-on-1, the young Australian next to Triantis. Did a brilliant job.
Here's the cross that preceded that, Harps.
What a lovely bit of work from Marco Tullio. Good defending from Newcastle, in fairness to them, which led to the dust-up between Mikkeltadze and Triantis.
It's a fraction too high, that crossfield ball for McGarry. Pumped forward by Thurgate. Kaltak has front position. Tell you what, Josh Sotirio's probably almost as quick as Brian Kaltak.
That was 2 fantastic Oceania athletes going at it. A rare matchup in the A-League, despite the geographic proximity. Josh Sotirio for Newcastle and Kaltak from the Pacific region, heritage-wise at least.
Yep. New Caledonian parentage for Joshua Sotirio. Kaltak, of course, the Vanuatu international. Dane Ingham has Samoan heritage. Here is Sotirio. Set quite nicely for him.
Yeah, worth a go too. Early days. Has been in and out of the team recently. A couple of fitness issues around Josh Sotirio, but has chimed in with some very important goals. Can do the same today, of course. It'll be a huge tonic for the home fans.
Here's Piscopo. Crisp passing by the Jets. Piscopo inviting Aquilina forwards. And have to go some to keep that one alive. Quite able to do so. Just to keep that Oceania theme going. Halves bumped into Dan Hall, who's not part of the Mariners stay squad today. In the lift on the way up, the commentary box tells me he's went through the process of getting his Fijian passport. In the hope of playing for their national team.
Yeah, why not?
Inga, Thurgate. A little bit tight in there, so Jets turn back out. Here's Piscopo. Had a bit on it.
Yeah, good start from Newcastle. Piscopo probably had it in mind to hit it a bit further wide. But it was straight into the breadbasket of Danny Vukovic.
First of two local scraps in the earning today. Western United and Melbourne City to come later. These big FA Cup semi-finals to come right across the weekend on Paramount Plus as well. Man City, Sheffield United. Early hours of tomorrow morning, and then Brighton, Manchester United tomorrow. No doubt Nick Montgomery will be watching his former club, the Blades. He's going to be disappointed.
Oh, I was waiting for it. Are you guys on speaking terms at the moment?
Well,
Or are you going to wait till about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning
no text this
to see who's talking to whom? Great competition, the FA Cup. One of the greatest, actually. The origin of many Australian people's love of football. Choice of team in England.
There's another little set two between Triantis and Mikkel Tadze. That's clearly a bit of a get square, I think, from the Georgian for the earlier challenge.
Yes, I think that's a fair assessment, Simon.
And Mikkel Tadze, as you watch that replay, involved in a fairly lengthy conversation with Sean Evans. Just reminding the referee of that incident in the first couple of minutes. Sean Evans reminding Mikkel Tadze that he's in charge and not the Georgian.
And telling Triantis to get out of his ear.
Caltac. Trying to slip it in there for Benny and Kalolo. Forward by Aquilina, rather aimlessly for the Jets. And Caltac with the long ball, but straight onto the noggin of Mark Natter. There was a little bit of a doubt, according to some reports, for this game, but he's pulled up okay. Continuing in that left full-back position. This is Ballard. Cummings, who likes to peel away from the front line and get involved in the build-up play. Caltac to work it wide. This time he's found Nkololo. Square for Triantis. Ballards couldn't quite turn away from Piscopo, and the Jets will look to spring forward. Dane Ingham, who's got plenty of pace himself, into the box, squares it up, chance surely! Sotirio can only find the legs of Danny Vukovic. Big opportunity for Newcastle.
And this is the indication for Newcastle. If they can open up the field and get into a foot race, they've got some players with some blistering speed. And look at Ingham go, driving deep into the heart of the Mariners formation. Caltac for once gets his legs all in knots. And the ball ends up at the far post with Josh Sotirio And if he hits the roof of the net, the Jets are winning 1-0, or leading at least. But along the ground, you play Danny Vukovic in, he makes a good save, the keeper.
Now it's produced this corner, which Piscopo is going to take in front of all those travelling Mariners fans. Jenkinson looking to attack it. Yerman at the near post. Surely yes! Forced over the line this time. Couldn't score first time around, but has at the second time of asking. Joshua Sotirio. And the Jets have the advantage in the 9th minute. And he's done it again against his favourite opponents. 7 goals in 16 games now against the team from Gosford.
Well, that's a wicked corner, a lot of traffic, players contending. Mikkel Tadze with the glancing header. He scored the winner on the far post at that goal in the second instalment of the F3 derby. Now he delivers the ball to that far post, and it could have gone wrong for the Jets. Jenkinson was hovering and Sotirio making sure. And I don't think on the Harvey Norman replay if he's too worried if he took Jenkinson's head off. In the meantime, the goal is what counted, and the goal is what the Jets have got.
Well, it's only his 3rd of the season. How important could it be for the Newcastle Jets? No, they have to win tonight, and they've just got the best possible start. What do the Mariners do about that? Ballard finding storm room. Gets it back off Cummings, lofted into the box. Tullio, awkward one to pick out of the air for the Brazilian.
Well, the Jets fans are cock-a-hoop. Just have it.
And challenges are flying in. Kaltak has been poleaxed by Mikkel Tadze. And there's another Jets player down as well. Sean Evans has got a bit of sorting out to do here.
Yeah, some pretty heavy contact.
It's a proper derby,
Well, and befitting the commemorative occasion, Simon, too. But that's Mikkel Tadze steaming in on Kaltak. There were a couple of haymakers in there, players down. And I mentioned the commemorative nature of today, of course. There's the Newcastle, well, one of their change strips, but it's more significant than that. This is the colour scheme of KB United in the NSL, but it's more significant than that, Simon. These are the colours of the Newcastle 35th Infantry Battalion, which was formed in 1915 to go to the Western Front, drawn out of the young men of Newcastle and the Hunter to go and fight for their country. And that football shirt and those colours are a commemoration of that. It's great to see it out in force. It's a lovely, lovely shirt.
Here, here. Those colours, or at least the modern day iteration of them, are flying high at the moment in the derby, which might get a little bit testy if referee Sean Evans isn't careful. Here's Cummings. The Mariners stung by that early goal, and the Jets have got the bit between their teeth. Yerman misses his kick. Triantis.
Tullio on the ball now has taken the number of Brandon O'Neill as well.
Now, here's a chance. McGarry sliding the ball into the box. Yerman away for now. Back with McGarry. And Kalolo. And it's going to be a corner.
Good chance. I thought McGarry actually rushed that. He was in great space. Might have taken a touch towards goal and shot himself. A little dust up off the ball. Brandon O'Neill went thundering into a pile of players and collected Tullio on the way. Tullio was of the mind, actually, to sort it then and then with Brandon O'Neill.
Let's go down to Tristan McManus, who's with Roy O'Donovan, who of course has played for both these clubs. As Brian Kaltak down again for the Mariners guys.
Hello there, Simon. Sorry, yeah, it's a great start to this game. There's a great travelling contingent here, fans behind them for the Mariners, and the home crowd are really getting behind this. Really hungry start, isn't it, from the Jets, Roy?
It really has. I think the Jets have really risen to the challenge, and it's the most attacking and positive start I've seen from the Jets in a long time. Their high press, CCM have struggled to deal with it so far.
A lot of people gone down. Caltech's gone down a couple of times. Pico Tadzi's been down a couple of times.
Proper derby, that's the way you want to see it.
Oh, love it.
I thought Roy might say that.
Well, he's a mountain of a man, Brian Caltech. There's no question when he goes down and needs attention, he's hurt.
Well, the Peppers will be delighted with this start. And Mikkel Tata arriving a fraction late on Caltech. That's what caused the initial problem. He's perhaps still struggling with that. Here's the goal. Mikkel Tata meeting it at the near post and bundled in at the far by Josh Sotirio.
Well, it was great perseverance, total determination from the Jets players. And this was the edge they needed to find today. McGarry had switched off. He didn't quite fancy the 100% coverage, and the Jets beat him to the ball and score the goal.
Mariners have got a corner. Caltech off the pitch just for the moment. There's a whole cluster of players trying to obscure goalkeeper Michael Weir's view, and there's a few verbals going on, a bit more than that. Carl Jenkinson and Nektar Triantis, Yerman getting involved. Well, you had a feeling it was going to be like this today. So much at stake for both clubs. Both sets of players really fired up, and Sean Evans has to blow his whistle again and go and try and sort this out.
Well, the longer the referee leaves it simmering, the more it's going to boil. Just get the corner played and get the football going.
Jenkinson wants to argue his case.
Is that an echo?
Now we're ready. Whipped in towards the near post where Angus Thurgate was stationed for the Jets. Reset through Ballard. It was the smartest of touches, really, by Marco Tullio, unlike him. To rapturous applause from those Jets supporters. There's real fire in the belly of the Jets. I guess an occasion like this, Harps, if they can't get fired up for this, then there's no hope for them.
Yeah, well, it's not always a surefire, is it, in derbies? Sometimes the approach and the build-up can be more than what the players deliver. But Newcastle only had...
Let's break away because Nisbet is in the box. Here's a big chance. Sammy Silvera. That is a really good block from Matti Yerman. Threw his body in the way. The sort of desperation in defence they might need tonight, the Jets.
Yeah, they're high-fiving and fist-pumping the Jets. They're up for this one. And the first base they had to cover was to make sure they could out-enthuse the Mariners, who've had a couple of openings now. It's beautiful, aware play from Josh Nisbet. The cutback was good. The first touch from Silvera was excellent. And then the stretch, Matt Yerman, the skipper, doing a great job there for Newcastle. Offside anyway, but the Jets defenders weren't to know that at the time. They've found their sweet spot, Newcastle, to start this match. The big question is, can they maintain it? Because the Mariners, in such good form, are going to cause plenty of trouble from here on.
Here's their leading scorer, Jason Cummings, who's seen out for now by Renaud Piscopo. – 16 goals this season, Jason Cummings. Jamie McLaren will probably win the Golden Boot, but he'll keep him honest, that's for sure. Here's Roux. Quite on the same page as Josh Nisbet, and Thurgate nipped it. Roux again. Sidesteps Piscopo. And through Triantis. Caltech. Floated over the top. Silvera, awkward one to take in his stride, and a little bump from Netta. Safely sees the ball behind for Newcastle. that 6-game winless streak against MacArthur, thanks to that stoppage time winner from Brandon O'Neill. It's too high for Ingham. No foul on Roux. Piscopo and Thurgate makes it good, and Ingham's cross cannons off Triantis and behind for a corner.
The game is sitting beautifully, Simon. Newcastle have started with great impetus, as they've had to do. But this is how good the Mariners are at the moment. They're still not bowing, and of course a lot of trouble. There was a question mark over that non-call from the referee. It was the speed again from the standing start of Dane Ingham to cause the trouble and win the corner.
Let's see if it goes in a similar sort of area to the one they delivered that led to the first goal. Tata coming across to that front post. It's a bit deeper this time. Triantis got his head on it. Thurgate to reset. And McGarry is too good for his opponent, but come to turn, link up with Silvera. Scooped forward by Michael Weir. Room first to react, but tied it up by Natta. Now O'Neill. Too much of a stretch that for Tadze. Now Silvera looking to get around Aquilina. Good challenge by the fullback.
He can make it too, Aquilina. And he was pretty sharp on the turn then, because Sammy Silvera, fantastic dribbler, very quick as well. Did test this. Look at Aquilina, 2 strides and then he throws himself. Great desperation.
Caltac. Yeoman there ahead of Cummings. Roux. Little flick off Nkalola that he didn't intend, and then it's ricochets back off Cummings, which will favour Michael Weir. Day giving way to evening in northern New South Wales. Perfect conditions for football. A really good battle on the pitch and in the stands as well. Lovely control by Piscopo. Works it out towards Ingham. Showed too much of it to Roux, but they'll get a throw, Newcastle. Newcastle have scored the first goal in the game this season. They have not lost. 12th time they've done so today. The previous 11 have produced 8 wins and 3 draws. Of course, a draw is really what they want today. It's the maximum. Ingham. Yeoman trying to arc it around for Tadze. Good climb by O'Neill. Piscopo's busy in between the lines, and he's trying to shrug off the attentions of Nisbet, who won the ball fairly. Piscopo didn't think so. And Jenkinson will work it out wide. Aquilina shut down immediately by Silvera. Another Newcastle throw. Aquilina blocked off by Nisbet. Now Benny and Kalolo, that familiar rangy stride. Rue. Touched on by Ballard. Nisbet. And it goes towards Silvera. Behind him is McGarry. And now Kaltak. Rue has crept forwards, and Kaltak will hit him beautifully with a ball like an arrow out to that far right-hand side. Mariners can't profit from it. Instead, it's Mark Natter for the Jets. Piscopo. Something brewing here potentially. It's not a good ball from Piscopo. Heavy touch though by McGarry. Could open the door again. Sotirio. Corner ball.
Well, the first real period of transition, going to turn into one of transition, I should say. A couple of passes under hit, then the heavy touch from McGarry gave the Jets a second bite at the cherry. The pass forward wasn't aggressive enough. And there's just that first sign that the initial wave from Newcastle is just starting to peter a little bit. Of course, it's a big ask, probably too big an ask to expect players to go full throttle for the entire 90 minutes. At the very second they back off, aggressive mindset, aggressive play, the Mariners will swoop and take advantage.
Well, the Jets have got a corner here. Piscopo towards Mikkel Tatsu, again met it at the near post. Again, there are complaints about the attentions from the defender. Let's see if he's got a point.
Well, there was a potential skirmish between he and Tullio on the ground. A slight locking of legs and a slight indication that maybe Mikkel Tatsu kicked out a little bit, only slight. Referee just putting the fire blanket on that one.
He's been the angry ends, hasn't he, Beckham Mikkel Tatsu, in these opening 25 minutes.
Tullio's stewing as well. He's still stewing from that wacky took from Brandon O'Neill.
Spot fires all over the pitch that Sean Evans has to try and put a damp towel over. Beckham Mikkel Tatsu, incidentally, without goal in open play since January. His last three have all been penalties. And of course, he did score the winner in the first derby of the season in December of last year in Gosford. Here's Nisbet for the team from Gosford. Taken off his toe by Aquilino. Mikkel Tatsu with Kaltak at his back. Finds Piscopo. Natter. Has he got legs to get beyond? And Kalolo, he does. Good run by the fullback. He tried to slip it through for that run from Sotirio. And they'll go again, the Jets. Piscopo. Triantis did enough.
That broke down to nothing. What a chance. And Natter's run was sensational, but he went for the lower percentage pass. Once it made the penetration outside of the foot to the edge of the penalty area, and the Jets are in behind. It was a great run from the youngster, trying to take anything away from him. So well to get away from Kalolo and set up the attack the way he did.
Cummings. Triantis moves it along quickly towards Kaltak. Has a look and pings it out towards Silvera. It will reach Mariners winger. Off a touch from Aquilino. Still Silvera. Lashes it in for the equalizer. That is a brilliant goal from Sammy Silvera. Because the angle was acute. Didn't matter. Power and precision. And it's 1-1. Against his former club as well, of course.
Well, Nectar Triantis hits a beautiful crossfield ball on the Harvey Norman replay, and Aquilino misjudges and then has a chance to bottle Silvera up against the byline, but he can't do it. And it might take you back to that two-stride and slide tackle earlier at halfway. Aquilino knows how difficult Silvera is. He doesn't have that luxury here. Silvera threads the needle. Really, no space in which to work, but that's utter athleticism. He drops the clutch and can't be stopped over 2 yards. Beautiful technique to keep the ball in playing distance. And the shot was an absolute fizzer into the far post.
Yep, it was centimetre perfect. Nothing Michael Weir could do. Sammy Silvera ends a 10-game scoring drought. And bites the hand that once fed him, of course. Spent a year with the Jets in between his 2 spells with the Mariners. And the Jets are pegged back. The travelling fans you can hear inside McDonald Jones Stadium, maybe a bit louder in a moment. Michael Weir forced to come out and play sweeper keeper.
Yeah, good goalkeeping. It was a tidy ball again over the top for Triantis. He's fancying himself from range at the moment, the young under-20 international. Disappointing defending from Aquilina. The Newcastle viewpoint on the concession of that goal. Misread the flight of the long ball and then skinned alive on the byline.
Triantis, he'll claim an assist for that goal. Rightly so too, even though he did take a touch off Aquilina. Kalolo was trying to help that on towards Rue, but didn't get the angles quite right. He's taken a whack there off O'Neill and stayed down. Sean Evans happy to let play go on. Thurgate around Triantis. Looking for the wall pass. It's very busy in there. Lashed towards goal in the end by Piscopo. Deflected behind for a corner.
Oh, he's been busy tonight. Thurgate without really having an impact, or an imprint, I should say. This is his first opportunity. He's received the ball, passed the ball nicely, but this is the first time he's asked a couple of decent questions of the Mariners' defence.
Benny and Kalolo is back up and about, and I think he's had a bit to say there to Sean Evans on the way through. And Sean Evans will have his say right now. He felt he was fouled, the Frenchman. Let's have a look and see if he's got a case. Thoughts, Harps?
Yeah, I don't think it's a foul. I mean, might have been a slight question over O'Neill's left arm, but I don't know what he's supposed to do with it. And he was down asking for help from the ref, wasn't forthcoming, might have said something on the way.
All of which has produced this corner. Piscopo's delivery, and it wasn't Kalolo at the near post, a head clear. Nisbet's getting further distance on his header. Every Mariners touch being cheered to the rafters by their travelling supporters. But the Jets are back on the ball. Thurgate, only briefly. Well, this is proper derby stuff.
It's a real good. Good crowd, lovely night. Excellent game, tense battles all over the field.
And the chance of Mariners ringing out from that stand on the far side. Buoyed by Sammy Silvera's equaliser, but Ballard's had his pocket picked. This time it is a foul though, and Brandon O'Neill gets the derby's first booking. Just a little too eager there.
Well, heavy touch from Ballard.
Yeah, and the leg goes across. Yeah. It's fair enough.
Just tempting Brandon O'Neill there. Couldn't resist. Rightly picks up the yellow card.
And Kalolo gets the throw. In position to take it quickly. Nisbet. It's going to be another Mariners corner.
Tide's turning. You know, there were these moments earlier where there were just some signs that Newcastle's huge early effort was just starting to peter a little bit. And the Mariners have accepted the opportunity. They've stepped in. They're taking control of the game.
Will remain alert from the corner, which has been worked short for Nisbet. Still plenty of bodies in the box if they can find the crossing angle. It's back with Storm Rue. Nicely disguised. Tullio. And Kalolo, drop of the shoulder. And slip to the point of contact, the Frenchman. And now the break is on for the Jets at the other end. Dane Ingham had to wait a moment for the help to arrive. Piscopo. Now the Mariners have flooded back in numbers. Piscopo's still good enough to hit the byline. Before the Mariners ultimately sort it out. One back by Ingham though. Oh, and Ingham lunged in. And foot was off the floor there. Has to be a little bit careful with those sorts of challenges. Certainly caught James McGarry, and Sean Evans is going to have a conversation. Yeah, I thought that might be the end result.
Well, that was a good opportunity for Newcastle. Not necessarily talking about the Ingham lunge here, but the burst forward, and Dane was part of that. Here he turns inside Tullio. It's just slightly away from him.
It's when the feet leave the ground. That's the problem.
I've got no problem with it being a yellow card. McGarry is a sore and sorry Mariner at the moment. He's on the end of that one. Mariners fans are calling for more.
They call it for VAR.
Yeah. Well, they'll be looking at it, and they'll be looking at that in the box. But just on that attack, Ingham burst forward beautifully, turned in, made the passing option, but the pass was under hit. It was like, well, I've done enough now, the job's done. But the pass needed to have more sting to keep the attack going forward. And every little delay was an opportunity for the Mariners to get that goal side in numbers, and the Jets' opportunity to attack the Mariners' goal had gone.
Caltac to go route one towards Cummings, who did reach it, and fortunately for the Central Coast, the flag is up. Ryan Goldrick on the near side, spotting that Jason Cummings was in offside position. Rather hopeful ball forward by Yeoman. They've got to throw the Jets out of it. Piscopo wrestled off it by Ballard, and the Jets get the whistle. Nick Montgomery has just turned around, I think, to Tristan McManus and given him a big smile about that decision.
Mate, it's getting spicy down here, huh?
You got your helmet on then?
Me and Roy were ready to go. The Irish Brigade is on the way.
Here's Brandon O'Neill, of Irish stock, of course. That was inventive by Mikkel Tadzer and lashed towards goal by Natter. Maybe first glance it looked as though it might have struck the arm of Caltac, but point blank range. Sotirio. Yeoman. Game's being played at a fair old pace. Mikkel Tadzer. Natter. Wasn't the best ball from Natter, but O'Neill sorted things out. Worked wide by Sotirio. Aquilina. Looking for the give and go with Ingham. Passing lane wasn't quite open enough for them. And the Jets will have to start again through Yeoman. Natter into the channel, too heavy though for Ingham. Right idea.
Yeah, he saw it, prepared to back himself, but no problem with that at all. Dan Ingham's run was a handy one as well, in a good position, but the Mariners are looking very solid at the moment.
Well, Newcastle have gone a lot down that left-hand side. Natter's got forward to good effect on a few occasions. It's Brandon O'Neill with a quick feet, and he's threaded the needle for Mikkel Tadzer, who can't do likewise.
Just too slow. Got to do it quicker. The Mariners are doing it quick. Mikkel Tadzer needs to do that much quicker. But the scrap's a good one, Simon. It's a real good one. That partner's been asked.
Jets' last home win over the Mariners was another Derby Classic, 4-3, February 2020, so that's over 3 years ago. Here's Sammy Silvera looking for his second of the game. Opened up nicely for him, and then James McGarry with not one but two efforts, but Brandon O'Neill had already drawn not only contact but the referee's whistle.
Yeah. Silvera jinking in onto that beautiful.
Oh, he's got a kick there from Silvera, accidental but still hurts.
Well, I don't think Sammy got any of the ball. It's actually a free kick. Should actually be a free kick, but you can't do that on video.
He's got a whack right to the back of the calf here, Brandon O'Neill.
Yeah, heavy contact. Brave defending. Silvera with eyes on his second goal for the night. His first one was fabulous.
Brandon O'Neill, no stranger to derbies, of course. His spell at Sydney FC, and he was involved in a bit of a controversy in first derby of the season with the then Central Coast Mariners striker Michael Roos. Judged handball, ruling out a goal, which would have given the Mariners a 3-2 win on that occasion. Here's the Mariners' equaliser tonight.
Yeah, this doesn't make for good viewing for Thomas Aquilini. Just got to deal with that better. And then insult to injury. Skinned by Silvera. His finish is terrific from there. He's a wonderful player, Sammy Silvera. It's a great goal. To give his team a share of the spoils so far going into half-time. It's been an excellent first half of football from both teams. Had some really golden moments, both the Mariners and the Jets.
Brandon O'Neill back up and about. Just has to wait for the ball to be back in play to rejoin the fray. Acrobatically forward by Kaltak and Kalolo, holding off the attentions of Natta. Back through Danny Vukovic. As mentioned, played in that first ever derby at this stadium back in October 2005. Not the first ever A-League men's derby between the two. That was a few weeks earlier when certain John Crawley was between the posts. Now the Socceroos goalkeeping coach, of course. It's cleverly done by Thurgate. And worked on quickly. I think Mikkel Tata was just on his heels for a moment there. Didn't expect it. And the Mariners can get the ball forward. Cummings and Kalolo. Now it might open up for Nick Montgomery's team. Storm room. Into the channel for Tulio. Calmly done though by Matt Yeoman. Now Piscopo. Oh, clever, really clever from Reno Piscopo. That's super work by the midfielder. Threads it through for Sotirio. It's a really important block by Kaltak because Mikkel Tadza would have been through one-on-one had that ball got through to him. Jenkinson gets it out wide for Aquilina. Aquilina's cross is dangerous, and Thurgate threw himself so hard at the ball he collided with the post on his way through.
That's a great run though. It's an excellent offering from Aquilina around the back of the retreating defender. It's a nightmare to defend. If it's just pulled it back a half yard, you'd fancy the Port Macquarie Pele to get on the end of that.
Look at this from Piscopo though. This is super stuff.
Speaking of Pele, beautiful work from Piscopo.
I thought that was Angus Thurgate.
Well, that's what I just said.
Oh, sorry.
Port Macquarie
Must have
Pele.
missed that.
No, you were adulating Reno Piscopo. We were still looking at the replay of the goal scoring opportunity.
Silvera. McGarry. Ballard. First half drawing to a close as night draws in Newcastle. Cracking game of football. Intelligent touch by Tullio. And Kalolo's shot. Was it deflected behind? Sean Evans says no. And Kalolo down, not for the first time. Jenkinson too. Tangle of legs, their attempt to win the ball. No Quarteras and none given. Not tonight. He's been right in the thick of it, Benny and Kalolo. Daningham. Triantis all the way back to Vukovic. And Kalolo. Good header. Cummings was trying to link up with Tullio. Brazilian. Oh, beautifully done. To get rid of Thurgate. Cummings. Sliding through for Silverin. Almost got there too. Important touch by Aquilina. Still there for McGarry, but Aquilina should be able to clear from here. Ball set up by a beautiful touch and turn by Marco Tullio. You might remember scored that long-range bomb against the Jets in the second derby in late December. Mariners won 3-0 on that occasion. We're into the first of 5 additional minutes at the end of the first half. One back by Nisbet for the visitors. Tullio. Lovely ball by the Brazilian. Great challenge by Jenkinson. Hooked away for a corner by Aquilina.
He had to stay in the game, didn't he? I mean, there's a couple of times now as the Jets have lost possession, been off balance. And they're so positive, the Central Coast. The passes with such penetration, and that had on it as well. It was a great slide from Jenkinson, but Aquilina needed to stay in the game. If he's clocked off, just trusting that Carl's going to win it, the Mariners get a tap in.
Stoppage time has been an issue for the Jets in terms of conceding goals this season. See if they can stay focused. Tullio's corner. Silveira. Swept forward by Yerman. Piscopo has lots of room. Ingham giving him an option. Needed to play it early. Needed to play it early, Relo Piscopo. He's going to get a free kick for the foul by McGarry, but it might have been more.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you do offer some criticism, the Jets in those transition attacks have erred slightly. Difference between them and the Mariners have been, the visitors have been way more telling in their counter attacks, but he should have played that to Ingham. You saw it and called it, Simon. It wasn't Ingham, it was Sotirio.
Still a free kick. And Piscopo, as we've seen on certain occasions in the past, is more than capable, even from this distance. So Danny Vukovic needs that wall to be set just right. Could be a key moment. So go for goal or tee up a teammate. Looks as though it's going to be the latter for a moment. Might still be. No, he's going to go for goal. Bad try, but Vukovic had the angles covered. A little bit fortunate for Natta. O'Neill. Piscopo. Very busy in this first half. Plays it off for Ingham. Piscopo, good use of the body. Disguised ball. Sotirio, good save, Vukovic. I think for a fraction of a second there, he might have been going towards the near post and had to readjust double quick. Good stop by the veteran, and the Mariners spring forward. Silvera on the left. Could they have the final say in the first half? And Kalolo rides the challenge of O'Neill. Silvera. Rue arriving at the back post. Weir got a touch, and it comes for Nisbet. The Mariners threatening as the first half draws to a close. Triantis. Just a fraction too high for Silvera.
Well, take a breath, hey? Going into half-time, wonderful football from Piscopo and Sotirio to force a wonderful, wonderful save from Danny Vukovic, and then upfield go the Mariners. Silvera feeding off the pass from Tullio. They put the Jets goal under pressure right on half-time. It's been non-stop, and it's been excellent to watch.
Just time for one final Mariners attack. James McGarry taking his time with the throw. And that will do for a first half that has been fast and frenetic and fabulous to watch. Josh Sotirio with the opening goal for the Newcastle Jets in the opening 10 minutes as the Jets flew out of the blocks. But back came the Mariners and squared the ledger through the former Jets striker Sammy Silvera with a beautifully angled shot from the edge of the box. All to play for in the second half in Newcastle at the interval. It's the Jets 1, the Mariners 1. Let's join Tristan McManus.
Thanks, Simon. I'm here with Josh Sotirio, the goal scorer. Josh, we wanted a derby. We're getting it. You guys look hungry out there.
Yeah, we definitely are. We're here. We get to get the win. We're throwing everything at them, so challenges, and we want to score as many goals as we can as well.
It really was straight from the off. I mean, we know Carl Jenkinson. He's a gorgeous-looking man. You nearly took the jaw off him. There was no way he was taking that header off your foot, right?
No, I wanted to score. I missed the one just earlier, so I wanted to make it up for the boys.
What are you expecting to hear now in the change room? It's back at 1-1.
Yeah, just to keep going. We need to keep chasing the goal to score. It's a tough game, but we're going to get him on in the second half.
Fantastic. You're giving us a great game. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. That was Josh Sotirio, guys. The score here is 1-1. Join us after the break for the half-time show with Roy O'Donovan, where we'll also look forward to today's other fixtures. See you on the other side of the break.
These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. Pull up on them and it look nice. Look nice. These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future.
Yeah, it is the grand final rematch, Archie Thompson, and all to play for Western United. We know Melbourne City have had another outstanding season, securing yet another Premier's plate, but Western United must win tonight if they are going to play finals football and defend their championship.
Yeah, well, look, I think for City it's about having that, they've got confidence, consistency going into a final series, and you've got Western United, and there's a lot of...
Look over that one. 3.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Welcome back to McDonald Jones Stadium, where it is 1-1 between the Newcastle Jets and the Central Coast Mariners. This is the Hungry Jacks halftime show with Roy O'Donovan. Roy, what a game it's been so far. We wanted a derby and we got one. It's spicy out there. They're hungry.
We certainly have. Well, look, we knew coming into this game, Jets have to win.
Yeah.
No other choice. And I think Mariners, tactically, they set up to maybe be a bit more cautious, which isn't their style. And they're not expecting Jets to come out of the traps like they did. And I thought for 20 minutes, Jets controlled the tempo. They won every second ball, and they deservedly took a lead. No, since then it's changed.
Well, it has changed. They certainly got back into the game, Mariners, a little bit more. But you're surprised at how slow Mariners start. I mean, they're calling for everything. There's a couple of niggles like you expect to. One thing I have to talk about as well, potential for a red card as well. There was a tackle by Dane Ingham there, and granted there was no malice in it, I guess, but still contentious. Surely that was checked.
It was one of those, he's lost the ball, there's a bit of desperation, he hasn't thought about it. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's a derby. I think the referee was sensible there.
Right, are you enjoying the game so far? Because
fantastic game, it's wide open.
Are you still going for the Jets?
Look, I'm going for the Jets because it makes it interesting. Stop trying to kill me.
I'm going to put you on here. First corner by Piscopo comes in. Great winning header. And geez, he nearly kicked the jaw off.
He did, and to be fair, he had just missed a very good chance before that. He didn't let it affect him. He wasn't missing this one. And the crowd was on his feet then.
Yeah, for sure. The crowd have been amazing. We saw a great crowd for the Mariners over there. The Jets fans, they're really getting behind this. They're liking what their team's doing.
Really are.
This terrible defending.
Aquilina, too much shampoo in his hair last night. Leaves a massive space. It's an exercise in how not to defend. Jenkinson should have came out of his line then, and Silvera's punished him. And it's against the run of play as well, I must say that.
It is, but he's timing that header wrong. Look, he's pushing him onto his wrong foot as well.
Yeah, he's done nothing there.
There needs to be more.
He's done nothing. He's nearly given away a penalty, and Jenkinson is nowhere to be seen here, and he should have come for the ball to stop it.
Good finish, though.
It was a good finish.
Let's take a look at the stats here, see how this game is going. Shots at goal 10-4 for Newcastle Jets. Does that tell the right story there, does it?
It does. That's how the game feels, but it's amazing. They've given, the Jets I should say, have given Mariners back a little bit of confidence against the run of play. Silvera has really given them a lift that they didn't deserve to have. But now all of a sudden it's game on, and Jets need to go again, otherwise they're going to get punished against a very confident Mariners team, really.
They really are. Let's take a look at some more of the chances from both teams as well, because there has been a few. They're not too much between them in terms of touches in each other's boxes, but this again, Jets into it from the off. Piscopo, he's my boy. I told you the last time, I'm setting up this Facebook page for him, and that's a shot on target, set the tone for the match.
Yeah, look, Piscopo is a very important player for them, but in the wide areas, what they've done very well is they've attacked space and been direct. Again, Sotirio can't miss. You can say it's a great save by Vukovic, which it was. He can't miss. Simple as that.
That's it. The pace of Dane Ingham is unbelievable there. He got through them. Lucky enough there. Good save from Vuka as well. Oh, well, it's a ball that came into.
Again, what I like about the Jets today, they're taking the game to the opposition. They're putting the ball into the dangerous areas. They're trying to hurt them. They're not playing a cagey game on the back foot. They're playing a front foot football game. They're pressing high. They're trying to outscore the opposition. That's what we want to see.
Another great save from Vuka there, but they have to. Like I said, they would have been complete. They would have been out of this if it wasn't for the 95th minute last week. Looking at Piscopo here, Reno, 2 counters created, 3 shots on goal. a lot of touches. He's keeping the ball a little bit too much now. But the duels, I like to see those duels. 13.
Yeah, well, look, for me, Reno Piscopo is one of the best operators in the league. He's silky with his touches. Some of the areas he picks up, it's very hard to defend against. If I'm going to be ultra critical, his final pass, his end product, hasn't been great today. There's a couple of overlaps that he's missed. Okay, you could say he's won a foul or he's got the opposition player booked. Dane Ingham on the left-hand side, Satirio with pace, put him in.
Yeah.
Put him in.
He's that player. He's been out for a while. He's coming back into it. He's finding his feet. Look, he's making a difference, and he's going to continue to make a difference in the second half. Look, we love this game, but it's not the only game that's happening today as well. There's a huge game going on down in Melbourne. Let's hear about it from Zappers and Archie.
Yeah, it is the grand final rematch, Archie Thompson, and all to play for Western United. We know Melbourne City have had another outstanding season, securing yet another Premier's plate, but Western United must win tonight if they are going to play finals football and defend their championship.
Yeah, well, look, I think for City it's about having that, they've got confidence, consistency going into a final series, and you've got Western United, and there's a lot of teams in that bottom six that... depending on results, it's going to go down to the wire probably next week. So, but for Western United, they need to win tonight.
We know Jamie McLaren's been a star for Melbourne City this year and represented Australia with the Socceroos as well at the World Cup. He's almost catching you in terms of goals scored all over the A-League. But one thing he hasn't got, Archie, is a grand final medal, which you pointed out to me a little bit earlier.
Oh, you have to put me on the bus. Well, look, I think he's breaking every single record. I think he's 2 off from all-time goal scorer, or levelling it with Besart Berisha. It's just phenomenal. When you look at his stats, what he brings every single year, he hasn't won a grand final. He lost last year, was in quarantine the year before, and lost to Sydney, I think, the year before that. So he'll be wanting to obviously do well.
Yeah, he'll have the fire in his belly for sure. Jamie McLaren, join us on Network 10 for all the action tonight.
There we go. I don't know what anyone's talking about. I reckon we sound exactly like those two fellas.
Absolutely.
No? What do you make of that final tonight? Looking back on that one, I went to it last year. It's going to be a big game.
It is. Well, Western United haven't been terrific this year, but they've still got a chance to make finals, and they'll be watching the result of this game, and 1-1 will suit them in this game today. And the way Phoenix went last night, Western United, the door is open.
There we go. Country full of favours. Huge game tonight. Huge game here. Second half. That is the end of the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Second half is coming up the other side of the break.
Well, there's a famous face cheering on the Jets tonight. Craig Johnston, winner of multiple trophies as a player with Liverpool, now back in his hometown. On the FA Cup, of course, semi-finals of which are on Paramount Plus later tonight and tomorrow. He's part of a parade of former players for the Newcastle clubs, the various iterations. There's the Griffiths brothers as well, Adam and Joel, of course. Clayton Zane, Taylor Regan, Andy Roberts, Scott Thomas, many more, but yeah, he's arguably one of the most famous ones out there. And good to see him looking so well and enjoying himself. As for the team whose top he's wearing, well, they've got a job to do in this second half. The Mariners remain dangerous, as they proved with that equaliser through Sammy Silvera, but the next 3/4 of an hour are absolutely vital for the Newcastle Jets. They must try and win the game. And they've only scored 14 second-half goals all season. That's the lowest total in the competition. The Mariners have scored 29, which is the highest. And a change made by Nick Montgomery at the break. Max Ballard's replaced by Harrison Steele. Like-for-like change in the centre of midfield. They won't lose too much, if anything, there, the Central Coast. So once more, and with feeling from the Newcastle Jets home crowd, they must try and get their team over the line in this 59th iteration of the F3 derby. Otherwise, their finals hopes, Andy Harper, will be all but over.
Yeah, but they've given themselves hope with a very buoyant first half. Great start to that first half, which set the template. I'd say that as the half was drawing to a close, it was the Mariners who were the team looking most likely to win the football match. The break has given Newcastle, or both teams, a chance to reassess. Newcastle a chance to get back into an ascendant position where they need to be. A draw is no good to them. It's win or nothing. Season's finished. 45 minutes to confirm that you're still in the race if you're a Newcastle Jet.
Confirmation of that change for the Mariners. Of course, a point wouldn't mathematically rule them out, depending on what happens elsewhere this weekend. That big last day showdown against Sydney FC to come. As for the Mariners, going for second spot. They've got their own big last day of the season to come, of course, as well. Trip to Adelaide United on the 29th of April, which may be a game that decides second spot, although the Wanderers might have a bit to say about that, of course. Sticks a leg out. Disco is trying to touch it around the corner for Mikkel Tata. Quite the purchase that was required. It's got away from O'Neill. Mariners could profit from that. Cummings attacking the end of the ground where their fans are, trying to slip the ball through for Nkalolo, but Natta wasn't fooled. Now Piscopo, that's a lovely touch to get away from McGarry. Not a bad release either. Away goes Sotirio, went for the early cross. And it was always going to favour Vukovic.
Yeah, just off balance. Not a bad idea from Sotirio. But I think getting specific from a Newcastle viewpoint, Simon, they really need a lot more out of Becca Mikkeltadze. A lot more. He's been very subdued.
Kaltak going cross field, looking for Nkalolo. Nodded down by Yerman for Thurgate. Now O'Neill. Mikkeltadze and Thurgate left him for each other. Mikkeltadze's won it back briefly. Off that left boot of Cummings. Chant Triantis giving chase successfully. Point for the Mariners tonight would leave them in 4th spot and probably outsiders for that 2nd position behind Premiers Melbourne City. Tidied up by Jenkinson. Played in plenty of derbies during his career. 4 North London occasions for Arsenal against Tottenham, and the Melbourne ones last season. Floated towards Silvera, but there's a height mismatch between Michael Weir and Sammy Silvera. Piscopo turned into trouble rather than out of it. Cummings. Still Cummings. You haven't got a foot in. Sotirio. Now Micheltadze went down on halfway. There was a little collision with Triantis, and Sean Evans was eagle-eyed, didn't miss it. Micheltadze has again got plenty to say. Triantis will go into the book. 1 to Becca Micheltadze.
Otherwise, Triantis has had the better of him tonight. He's just such a fine prospect, isn't he? Triantis picked up the yellow card, but represented Australia at the World Under-20s very well. Here he's just stepping slightly across. You make the contact, you invite your opponent to make more of that contact, which Micheltadze did. He was no chance of getting on the end of that pass. So it was smart play by the Georgian.
And you know, Becca Micheltadze's got a problem with that shoulder. We saw in the dressing rooms pre-game. He's got that shoulder heavily strapped, and you can see him rather gingerly just testing it out. It's a costly booking, by the way, for Triantis. His 8th of the season. He will miss that final day trip to South Australia. 2nd suspension of the campaign. Tullio with Thurgate having his arms across it. It's been niggly at times. Just what you'd expect from a derby. Especially one where the stakes are so high. And Kololo trying to turn clear of Natta. Rue. Triantis and Kaltak. A bit too straight that for Nkololo, and the Jets can spring forward, and Sotirio is free, and Ingham has found him. Big chance this for the Jets. Sotirio. Brilliantly defended by first Kaltak and then McGarry.
But how intimidating is Kaltak? You can't beat him across the ground for speed. Although it just delayed a little bit, that pass, but he makes up the ground. Sotirio's no slouch. We've talked about that before. It's just really difficult one-on-one to get the better of Kaltak. Angles were closed. It was a double up defensively. Good opportunity for Newcastle, seen away by Central Coast.
And Kololo has impeded Mark Natta. Western United, Melbourne City to come later, of course. Western still with a chance of getting into 6. Natta, this is a great run. Down he goes, to the edge of the box, and Nisbet to judge the guilty party.
Well, it's not the first time tonight we've seen Mark Natta get the bit between his teeth. Drive the ball deep into Central Coast territory. Try as hard as he could not to foul. Nisbet is doing everything.
They're both dancing with each other.
And then at the end, of course, it's a fair call from the ref.
The last tango in Newcastle.
That's right. Nicely put. Speaking before the game about Josh Nisbet, what fantastic form he's in, back to his very, very best.
Reno Piscopo, who took a couple of free kicks in the first half, has been waved away. Becca Micheltadze, you sense, fancies this one. Had too many opportunities so far tonight. Sizing up the task in front of him. It's going to take a good effort to beat Vukovic from this range. Let's see if he can do it. Micheltadze through the wall. Well, he got it on target, and Vukovic grabbed it at the second attempt. Cololo flicks it on, and Tullio. No offside flag. Brazilian will lift it in towards Cummings, just too far for him. Nisbet arriving. Newcastle in trouble. And eventually, I think, more by luck than good judgment, it came off Jenkinson into the grateful gloves of Michael Weir. Little scare for the Jets. Piscopo dancing through two defenders. Ignores Thurgate, goes back through O'Neill. Natta. Ingham. And he can motor Dane Ingham. Piscopo never really got hold of it, did he?
Well, you know, what's ringing in my ears now is Roy O'Donovan at half-time asking for an end product from Reno Piscopo. Good rate again from Ingham, good signs for Newcastle. It's great space. Now, this is his canvas, Reno Piscopo. He's earned, by a busy performance tonight, he's earned the ability and the right to play in some space. But defenders are starting to check off him because he's been so tricky. And this is the time now for him to actually deliver big time, because he was looking great, got injured. It's taken him a while to get back, and he's in good touch at the moment. And a couple of end products to steal Roy O'Donovan's line is about due, and it'd be great tonic for Newcastle.
It's his little flick, which again hasn't quite come off. 7 games with that groin problem. Reno Piscopo does have 4 assists, which is the most of any Jets player. Here he goes again. He has Sotirio on the right. Josh Sotirio, and Vukovic pours the ball over the crossbar.
Well, that was better from Piscopo. Carried the ball, released it to give a well-positioned teammate an opportunity to strike at goal. And he really lashed it, didn't he? Josh Sotirio was bobbling and swirling. Vukovic just sticking his hands towards the ball, and the deflection goes to safety.
Does give the Jets a corner, which Piscopo himself will take. And there's a bit of jockeying for position, and 1 or 2 words exchanged. Sean Evans trying to keep his eye on about 3 or 4 different things at once. Now we're good to go. They scatter in towards the near post, off ahead of Nkololo, and then McGarry. And the Mariners get the whistle.
For what? Took a while.
There's so much going on at those set-piece situations. You don't really know what the referee is keeping his eye on. That's a useful release by Nkololo. Nice take too by Silvera. Really the subsequent pass he had in mind. And the Jets will look to break. Sotirio this time looking to be the playmaker. Straight at Kaltak.
Well, Benjamin Cantata is in the top couple of Newcastle players. If you're right about his shoulder, there's something that's stopping him from really igniting this place. The team needs him, and if he is physically a passenger at the moment.
Here's Silvera, fed by Tullio, still Sammy Silvera! It's a double for Sammy, and the Mariners hit the front in front of their adoring public. Newcastle Jets season right on the line now. But once again, a very, very tidy finish by Sammy Silvera.
Well, Aquilina beaten on the first touch. He couldn't put it with him in the second. Jenkinson's overcommitted. Beautiful slot. It's a haymaker from captain Matt Yerman on the Harvey Norman replay. He's done 3 with 1 run, and then Michael Weir, the goalkeeper, for good measure. He's in great nick, Sammy Silvera, and he's destroyed the Jets down their left-hand side, just destroyed them.
And I tell you what, some credit too, not just for the finish, which was tidy enough, but that assist from Marco Tullio. We saw one a couple of weeks back against Western United that was exquisite. And that one wasn't bad either, to release Silvera.
Beautiful. I mean, he can play, Tulio. Signs at the very early stages of the season that he'd fit in nicely. Combined well with Jason Cummings. Silvera's just put a match to the joint here, really, from the Mariners' viewpoint. He's just carved Newcastle up twice, tellingly, on their left-hand side. And it's got to be a change now from the Jets. They've got to get an injection. Just didn't quite get to finish that point because of Silvera's brilliance. The pass from Tulio, but if Mikkeltadze's not fit and can't contribute, they can't be waiting. They've lost control of the game. They've lost control of the scoreboard now.
Well, they've got to throw the kitchen sink at the Mariners now. Here's Piscopo, no foul, into the box by Steele. Silvera brings it clear. It's a lovely feint which has attracted the attentions of Brandon O'Neill, who's already in the book. Second yellow card. Hero 1 week, villain the next. He kept their season alive last week against the Bulls. But now that challenge on Silvera means that the Jets must play the last half an hour a man short.
Well, you're sitting on a yellow card. You just can't even afford. You can't even afford. And great experience. Great character, Brandon O'Neill, but he's left his team in a hole. And what a swing from 1-1. Piscopo has a great chance, doesn't quite connect with his shot. A couple of minutes later, Silvera makes it 2-1 for the Mariners, and the Jets go a player down.
Well, the home fans trying to rouse their team. It's going to be a Herculean effort from here on in if they're going to get the 3 points they need. The Mariners rampant now. Arthur Papas is going to go to his bench. And Mohamed Altai is the first man summoned. And Josh Sotirio sacrificed. Well, an attacker withdrawn to bring a midfielder on.
Yeah, well, that's going to raise some eyebrows. Sotirio's looked dangerous. Look at that header from attack. And now, bit between their teeth. The Mariners close in. Yeah, Sotirio is good tonight. That's a really interesting one. Mikkeltadze has been a bit of a passenger. Can he find something, the Georgian?
Well, I just think that with the game in the balance, the season in the balance, let's be honest, they don't have too many goal scorers. Josh Sotirio can provide, as he proved in the first half.
Well, the thing they have had, Simon, to their advantage, and we've seen it tonight, is speed. So Sotirio has utilised that. Ingham as well. I would have thought maybe a Trent Bahaja.
Yep.
The game's going to break open. You got to go for it. You got to go for it, Newcastle. And the Mariners sitting pretty. What a fantastic campaign, led by Coach Monty. The field troops have just been outstanding. And after that early onslaught from Newcastle, got themselves back into the game and now into the lead and with a player's advantage. It's going to take something huge from the Jets here.
Mariners looking for a third. Silvera! Well, he's looking for the hat-trick, of course. Doesn't get it on that occasion. If it does stay this way, there'll be a real logjam between three teams on 41 points. There's Brandon O'Neill watching the game perhaps on the TV screen in the dressing rooms. Let's go down to Tristan and Roy.
Well, you talk about tactics, boys. Sometimes it's just about personnel. I think Steele coming on in midfield with Nisbet has changed the game in Mariners' favour completely. The energy seems to be sucked out of the stadium here, and the Jets are really on the back foot now.
Tilio, what a save by Michael Weir to keep the Jets' season alive. That is top draw from Michael Weir.
Oh, there's a heavy clash. A great cross from Nkololo. Lovely header. And it is clashed head-on into the post.
The ball's almost behind him, Harps. That's an extraordinary
save. It really
save.
is, Simon. It really is. It's great football, actually, all round. What a superb header, actually, from a standing start from Tulio. We are very brave. Look at that. Wow. Smashed his head onto that post.
We'll go back down to Roy O'Donovan and Tristan in a moment. Meantime, Nisbet and Kololo. Out it goes off Mikkel Tadza. And the Jets just clinging on by their fingernails here. Or in the case of their goalkeeper, his gloves. Still feeling that collision with the post. Mariners work the corner short. Tulio floats it, back post. Over the top from McGarry. Let's go back down to Tristan and Roy.
Yeah, it's all Mariners here at the moment, and I'm at a loss for words with the substitution. The only real joy the Jets have had in the second half is on the counter-attack with Soterio's pace. Him coming off and Bahagia not coming on, or the both of them being on the pitch together, it's just baffling. And it's all Mariners, and they're in control of the game, and it's only a matter of time before they score a third goal, the way things are going.
The only goal behind the Wanderers. I've got this one a 4-1 Mariners.
We're coming back down to you, Tristan, for the maths as we progress. Here's Piscopo trying to weave his way through. There's just one too many defenders there. Nisbet will thump it forward. Cummings won't reach it. Silvera will. And Cummings didn't think his teammate was going to get there. I'm sure we will see Trent Bahagia at some point. Maybe Arthur Papas thought it was just a little bit too early to make that change. The game's still in the balance. Here's Cummings, might not be soon.
They struck it cleanly. At some point they're going to have to go to 3 at the back and throw players forward. I mean, they need 2 goals at least. Of course, they can't afford to concede. But the more open the field in a bizarre way, the better if they can get Bahagia on there.
To be fair, that's a great win in midfield from Altai, which is one of the reasons he's been brought on. The area of the field vacated by Brandon O'Neill. The step overs from Piscopo. They tried to leave it for Aquilina. Didn't stop the ball, which favoured McGarry.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Piscopo has lunged in on Silvera. Just got to be mindful they don't go over the top.
Well, I don't want to lose their emotion, you're right, but that was a good press that nearly worked. And then the throw in back, it just wanted to control himself a little better. They get the throw and they're on the attack.
It's that attempted little back heel for his teammate. It didn't quite eventuate. And Mariners have got a problem with James McGarry here. He's just needing a bit of attention. Arthur Papas will take that opportunity to readdress his charges, make a point or two. He has Bahagia on the bench. He has Archie Goodwin on the bench tonight, Harps. I mean, this is a situation really you'd think that is made for the youngster. He can certainly provide a goal.
Yeah, well, he's made by and large great impacts. And when he's come on, Soterio looking at space, wondering what, wondering how.
Well, it all started so sweetly because of him. Josh Soterio, that is, not Brandon O'Neill. The Jets have not been able to see it through. There's still time. And can you hear big sighs of relief from the vicinity of Sydney and Wellington at the moment? They're the clubs most in danger of missing out on the 6. If the Jets were to win tonight. Steady down by Tulio. Pinged out effortlessly by Kaltak towards Rue. Triantis. Jacob Farrell is being readied as the Mariners' second change. James McGarry, of course, just needing treatment a few moments ago, so maybe that's just a precaution. Kaltak, what a ball. What a ball from Kaltak. And Roux is away down the right. Cummings on his own, top of the box. And Tulio trying to place it. And a throw from Weir. It's not done his team any favours whatsoever. McGarry, sprightly enough at the moment. Oh, and it breaks here for Tulio. That'll do it, surely. Marco Tulio, who assisted the second, now scores the third. His work goes underreported, but not undervalued by those Mariners fans. And 3 points looming now for Nick Montgomery's team.
Well, what a disappointing way for this match to unfold for the home team and the fans who turned up. It's really quite poor defending on the Harvey Norman replay. I mean, the release out of the goalkeeper, Weir went straight to a Mariner, and then they've just virtually walked it in with so much to play for. Hope evaporating for Newcastle. Leading 1-0, now trailing 3-1. And finding it very difficult to land a blow at all. Here comes Bahaja.
Well, to be fair, there's a touch of good fortune in terms of McGarry's assist. It's played onto his right foot. And that presented the chance quite nicely for Marco Tulio. Now has 7 for the season. And the Jets are going to throw on Trent Bahaja in a desperate hope to try and salvage something. Renaud Piscopo is the man who gets his number called. And the Mariners are going to make a change as well. Jacob Farrell standing by. And Trent Bahaja, who became the first man to score for both clubs in the derby earlier on this season. Is now part of the action, and James McGarry, whose final action was to claim an assist for Tulio's goal. The Mariners' third, and one which, with 20 minutes to go, has surely put this game to bed and put the Jets on their summer holidays, or winter holidays.
Yeah, it's you feel for the people who've turned up in good numbers, not the Mariners fans, to be fair to them. They've come up the freeway in an excellent representation, and their team just too strong. You could almost trace that moment in the first half, Simon, when the Jets' output just started to peter, and you open that gap for a team in such good nick, and the Mariners accepted that, and they've the slightly ajar door, they've just ajar door, they've just burst through it. And the Jets haven't been able to keep up with them. They've had a couple of chances, but they've just come apart at the seams under the pressure of it all. Without knowing the status, physical, mental status of some of the players, I got some question marks on the rearrangements, the substitutions. Of course, the Brandon O'Neill send-off has just thrown everything to the four corners. Michael Tadze hasn't been himself tonight, not from the kickoff. And if he's crook, you wonder what service he can provide. A miracle from here, no less, from the Jets.
Just in general terms, Harps, this is a part of the world that means an awful lot to you. The Jets have only made the finals once in the last 12 seasons. That's more than likely about to become 13. What has to change in terms of the bigger picture? I mean, obviously new owners would help.
That's where the discussion begins and ends, and now's not the forum.
Yep.
But you know, that has to be sorted before this place potential can be realised. The start of the game was terrific. Pappas had the team lined up, and they came out and they aimed up, and they were in good nick, but they couldn't maintain it. And this Mariners team is the real deal. I mean, let's focus on them. They are the real deal. And what a hot race we've got for second.
It's the Mariners fans in full voice, their team in full bloom. Stars live ladder, and that 2-goal cushion enough to lift them for the moment anyway up into second spot and really put the pressure on Adelaide. Their game against Perth tomorrow. The two of them, of course, face off at Coopers next week. And Kalolo. Maybe the margin of victory is going to become even greater. Jenkinson up and away, not too elegantly, but it did the job. Standing ovation.
That's party time.
For Benny and Kalolo as he comes across for the corner.
Party time in the northeast corner.
Here is Kalolo, and Weird couldn't hold it. Steele, Silvera, slipping it through. Cummings just beyond him. Tulio will reload. In fact, he'll let it go behind for the corner. Jason Cummings will not want to miss out tonight. Silvera. Tulio fed by Caltac. Charged down by Yeoman. Silvera again. He's been really good tonight. Slinging the cross in. Still Brewer fancy at the back post. Offside though.
Well, 15 minutes to go plus stoppages. I mean, the Jets have to make sure this doesn't become a humiliation. I don't think the first half performance deserves that. Certainly the fans don't deserve that. Newcastle fans, that is. And they've got 15 minutes to buckle in and make sure not only that they can maybe get a goal and put some pressure on the Mariners in some sort of miraculous flurry.
Farrell, chested down by Cummings. Didn't quite sit for him. Still going, Cummings. Took a touch. Corner.
But the shoulders are down. The gate is slumped collectively. The Mariners to a player, a 10-foot tall and bulletproof.
Tulio. Nisbet. And Caltac across the face. Philip for handball as Brian Caltac. Against Matt Yeoman. Sean Evans not interested. Harrison Steele to try and set up the next attack. Danny Vukovic getting the best view of anyone of the Mariners' almost complete domination now. Rue. It's going to be beyond Benny and Kalolo. Central Coast Mariners, very much a club on the up. Third year in a row that they've reached the finals after the barren years. Of course, they'll have a women's team as well next season, led by Emily Husband. Talking of which, congratulations to Sydney FC, who've won through earlier on today to the Liberty A-League Grand Final against Western United to be held next week. It's a foul by Kalolo and a bit of afters with Yeoman, which is, let's call it not too friendly. Mikkeltanta, that's clever. Aquilina in behind! There should have been some hope there for the Jets, but it's not to be.
Well, to make things interesting, and Aquilina in on goal. Danny Vukovic. And Caltac's recovery is imposing, but still there was a gateway to the goal there for Aquilina.
forwards by Triantis, and the bouncers favoured Tullio here. Completely befuddled Yerman, who, to be fair to him, well, I was going to say won the ball back, but Sean Evans is closer than we are and says that he fouled the Brazilian.
He was trying so desperately to set up Jason Cummings. Where are you? Where are you? He was looking for his mate. He actually got the ball.
He did first, and then there's a little sort of secondary flick out in Tullio, but he certainly wins the ball first. Strange one.
Cummings from here. Caltac and Kololo. The thing with Caltac, if he hits one, he could take the entire wall to Nobby's Beach with the ball.
The net off.
That's right. Look at him. What a pickup he's been. Quite clearly one of the best players in the competition.
Yeah.
Taking his entrance as a 29-year-old. Fabulous. And he's lining up for this too, Caltac.
Well, he's yet to score in the competition. Let's see if that's about to change. Wall of 5 for the Jets. And they got the draft excluder as well, because you reckon Brian Caltac is going to try and take the leather off this. Silvera's there as well, of course. He's on a hat-trick. But it is Caltac. Well, he got the power, but not the placement. Changes afoot for both teams. Angus Thurgate to be replaced by Jason Hoffman for the Jets, who comes on for his 28th F3 derby. And Thomas Aquilita, who missed that chance some moments ago, maybe to give the Jets a bit of hope, makes way for Costa Grozos. And a double change imminent for the Mariners as well. Marco Tullio has been very good tonight, goal and an assist. Will be replaced by Moresh. And we're also going to see the introduction of Christian Theoharis at the expense of Benny and Kololo. Real good night for the Brazilian, Tullio.
Yeah, excellent player. Kololo had a good game. There's not been a poor Mariner. Archie Goodwin retakes his place on the bench. Thurgate off. Costa Grozos on.
Here's Ingham. Bahaja has pace, of course. Triantis trying to stay with him. Bahaja! Matter of centimetres.
Well, good run. This is what was foreseen. Bahaja in some territory. Pinning his ears back and going for goal. Just wide of Danny Vukovic's left post.
Caltac's ball straight at Dane Ingham. Just desperate for a bit of hope here. The Jets. Carl Jenkinson almost playing as a right winger. He may as well. There goes Moresh, and looking to lob the goalkeeper. Michael Weir is a difficult figure to get the ball over the top of. 6'5". Mikkel Tata playing almost more as a number 10. Steaming forward is Jenkinson. It's beyond Bahaja and Mikkel Tata. Well, that was inventive, and it nearly paid off. And the 10 men of the Jets are starting to throw a few punches, which they have to.
Yeah, certainly. Just a stretch from Triantis teeing it up for Mikkel Tata. Acrobatically firing the ball goalwards, but just wide.
There's 3 chances in space of 4 minutes that the 10 men have created. Really, to keep their season alive, they're going to have to score 3 in what remains of this contest, which doesn't look particularly likely. You never know. Here's Bahaja. Away from Triantis for a moment, but he's offside. That's why he got away from him. Another change imminent for the Central Coast here. And we are going to see an A-League men's debut for Miguel De Pizio. 17-year-old who spent part of his junior career with Western Sydney Wanderers. Joey's captain. Can play anywhere across the front four. And a very highly rated prospect. Sammy Silveira takes his leave on the far side of the ground. He'll enjoy that walk. 2 goals tonight. He's about to cross in front of those Mariners supporters, who will give him a very good reception.
Too long that from Theo Harris. Too long in possession. Threaded it through to Jason Cummings.
Jets' latest attack broken up by Nisbet. They have to commit numbers forward.
He's incredible, Nisbet. He really is. A bit flat form-wise. A few weeks ago was spending some time on the bench. But he's bounced back, and he has been superb. The run into the season, scoring goals for fun. Mariners now with a plus 17 goal difference, level with the Wanderers. More goals for, so they sit currently in second.
It's going to be some game next week. Adelaide Mariners. Adelaide have got a game in Perth, of course, tomorrow before that. Which is not the easiest place to go this season and get a win. Only one team has managed it all season. Farrell looking for the foul and ultimately getting it. Jason Hoffman, the culprit. Jacob Farrell looking for Jason Cummings, who's desperate for a goal. He's just thumped a practice ball into the advertising hoardings behind Michael Weir's goal. That's how frustrated he is. Strikers like to score.
Well, and you know, he's got the sniff of blood tonight because there is space, has been space. Passes on occasion have come a bit late. Now that the game is opening up, Newcastle have that player less, even more chance for Cummings, and he'll be filthy if he leaves the ground without having bagged a goal.
German stepping in front of Theoharis. Mikkeltata. Altai. Works it out for Daningham. Contact there again for the Mariners. Held further away by Maresh. Theoharis thought he was foul there by Ingham as he tried to protect the ball out for a throw. Jenkinson. It's a strong challenge on Nisbet, but nothing untoward. Ball lifted over the top. Jason Cummings, lovely first touch. He's going to have a go here. I don't think there was ever any question that he wouldn't.
No, it was a good test too for Michael Weir, who was up to that test. There was a brief moment where he thought he might have been offside, but the assistant on the far side decided, George Laprindis, that it was all okay.
A couple of minutes to go. Harps, we saw the Wanderers put on a Really good display last night.
Weren't they fantastic?
What are the Mariners' chances in the finals?
Not very, very good. I mean, the top four are cut away from the pack for good reason. They're all in good shape. City, Adelaide, Wanderers, Mariners. There's a bun fight on for those last two places, which is fascinating, of course. Sydney FC have left their run late, starting to show a bit of their quality. They've got plenty. Big game for them, for Brisbane, who are still alive with a win. And then, of course, Western United. So, MacArthur, victory, and now the Jets have dropped out. Wellington on the precipice. There's still so much with a week to go and a few games.
Rue into the channel for Maresh, who gets there ahead of Hoffman. Mariners throw. Last minute of the game. Maresh. Clever. Hoffman gets around to Fizio and puts it out in front of Trent Mahaja. Just wouldn't quite sit for him, and he couldn't quite take it in his stride. And awkward Nisbet prevents the corner.
But the fact that Nisbet was presenting that last line of defence with another lung-busting recovery run.
6 additional minutes signalled by fourth official Stephen Lucas. Costa Grozos to deliver the latest corner for the Jets. It's headed just wide by Matt Yerman, who scored his first goal in 8 years last week in this competition against MacArthur.
They're as nicely here. Looks like he had a handful of the shirt as well. He made good contact, Matt Yerman, just couldn't control the direction of the ball.
A lovely turn by Thea Harris. Left the defender trailing in his wake, still going. Back to a bit of power as well, for sure, but we're equal to it.
Wasn't a great turn.
Jets looking tired, a little ragged. Nisbet, Farrell, Letizio. Goal kick. And the Mariners, the league's great entertainers, have done it again today. Matches this season have now featured 85 goals. It's an average of over 3 per game. They're good value. And they will be much more than just nuisance value in the finals. They feel they've got a real shout of maybe adding a second championship to the one they won under Graham Arnold's back in 2013. As for the Jets, going to be another long off-season of soul-searching. Tata slides it through beautifully. Mahaja. Tata was furthest forwards in terms of potential recipients of that cross. Jets will go again through Grozos, Jenkinson. Little touch around the corner by Altai, and Hoffman enticingly across the base, but Mahaja couldn't apply the finishing touch. will still be something to play for the Jets in that final game against Sydney FC. To avoid finishing in the bottom 4, Harps. Avoid having to go through the playoffs for the Australia Cup.
Yeah, the ultimate ignominy. Got to stay above that drop zone, if we can call it that.
Tata. Rozos, no way through. Nisbet, it's Cummings onside here. Jenkinson trying to stay with him. It's England against, well, Scottish born. And Cummings draws the contact, the foul, and the colour of the card is red. And the Jets' season is going to end in abject misery, down to 9. Always the danger, of course, when you're trying to push men forward, try and get a goal to get back in the game, you leave yourself exposed.
Well,
it's clear as day.
Totally. I mean, the referee, red card's the only option. Carl, with a plaintive point to another defender who was going to cut off the route to goal. But the damage has been down. The near side, Aquilina and Jenkinson skinned a couple of times by Sammy Silvera.
Well, Jenkinson and O'Neill will miss that final day trip to Sydney FC. Yeah, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Final minute of the game. And Moresh is lining up the free kick, but Jason Cummings is there. What's the betting? Moresh leaves it, and Cummings. It's just not happening for Jason Cummings, at least tonight.
No, tidy effort though, hit nice and clean.
Maybe time for one final attack. Dane Ingham is all alone. He's going to get a corner. Is there going to be enough time on the clock to take it? The last knockings of the Jets' bid to reach the finals. Rozos with the corner. And Vukovic with the take. And Sean Evans says that will do. The cheers are from those in yellow and navy. It's the Mariners who march on. Home final confirmed. Second spot theirs for the taking. A couple of goals for Sammy Silvera. One for Marco Tullio, who had an assist on a very good night for him as well. And all that after a really good start for the Jets on this night, which was essentially their grand final. Josh Sotirio putting them in front, but in the end the Mariners ran over the top of them. Brandon O'Neill and late on Carl Jenkinson both sent to the dressing rooms. Josh Sotirio substituted, Archie Goodwin unused. And the bonus for the Mariners is that they finish off the Jets campaign, which will again end in disappointment. They will miss the finals for the 5th year in a row and for the 12th time in the last 13 seasons. But the Mariners, only blue skies ahead. Anything is possible from here. Full time at McDonald Jones. Newcastle Jets 1, Central Coast Mariners 3. Let's get reaction with Tristan.
Thanks, Simon. I'm here with Nectar Triandis. Nectar, you really turned on that second half.
Yeah, it's the result that we want. Obviously in the derby, a 3-1 win. Obviously we didn't get the clean sheet. We've got to take a look at ourselves, but in the end you've got to be happy with the 3 points.
Most definitely. What do you put that slow start down to? Obviously, as the game went on, you got more and more into it, and then you were a completely different, maybe not a completely different time, but a completely dominant team in the second half. What do you reckon happened at the start?
It's all belief. We know if we go down, it's not the end of the world. 8 minutes in, we stick to our tactics, we stick to what we know we're good at, and it shows.
That result puts you in second now, level on goal difference, but where do you go from here? That's your place now, right?
Yeah, Adelaide next week, that's what we look forward to now.
And 3 points clearly in Adelaide.
That's it, that's the way.
Very, very tough game.
Happens, but good side of it.
Mate, we can do this all day. One for me, one for you. Congratulations. Well done. Good on you. Thank you, guys. I'll be back to you in 1 second. I'm going to try find Renault. Be back to you in 2 seconds, Simon.
Yeah, no problem, Tristan. James McGarry, who of course started the season with the Jets, but finds himself on the opposite side today. And there are consolation hugs for 1 or 2 Jets players. Becca Mikkeltanta just wants to stand and to stare and to absorb what has just happened. Matt Yearman, such a keen competitor as well. This hurts for the Jets, not just tonight, but another season in which they will miss out on finals football. And the Mariners, onwards and upwards for them, into the finals for the 3rd year in a row. And they've now won 4 straight at this venue against the Jets. Also back-to-back away victories for the Central Coast for the first time this season. Nick Montgomery will be able to enjoy watching that FA Cup semi-final on Paramount Plus a bit later on, involving his former club Sheffield United against Manchester City, with 3 points safely in the bag. Didn't necessarily start that well though for the visitors. Josh Sotirio getting the opening goal. Blistering start by the Jets, but they weren't able to maintain the rage. And in the end, the Mariners, comfortable winners. We're going to head off for a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll wrap everything up. Stay with us.
These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. Pull up on them and it look nice, look nice. These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. These moves looking real nice in the future. Pull up on them and it look nice.
Yeah,